Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 85.
Let's start with Liu Bei. He's just been completely crushed at Yiling, trying to avenge Guan Yu. He manages to pull his remaining forces back to Beidicheng, which he renames Yong'an Palace, basically. The Palace of Eternal Peace. Kind of ironic, given the circumstances.
The sources really emphasize the human cost. I mean, losing key officers like Feng Shi, Zhang Nan, Fu Tong, Cheng Ji, Sha Mok, that's devastating for morale, for capability.
It is, and what's striking is Liu Bei's reaction when his advisors catch up to him. They mention how Zhuge Liang, Kongming, had advised against this campaign from the start.
And Liu Bei actually says it, doesn't he? He admits his mistake.
He does, explicitly. He says something like, if he'd listened to the prime minister, this wouldn't have happened. Calls his own understanding shallow knowledge, that level of public regret from an emperor. That's pretty rare.
It really sets the tone, and it leads directly into this fascinating situation with General Huang Quan. A real test of character.
Right. So Huang Quan was commanding forces north of the Yangtze, the Jiangbei troops. When the main army collapses, he's completely cut off by Wu forces. No way back to Shu.
So he surrenders to Wei. Out of necessity, it seems.
Exactly. But back in Chengdu, the reaction is predictable. The court officials are saying, okay, execute his family, standard procedure for defection.
But Liu Bei refuses. Even after this huge personal and military blow, he steps in.
And he says that famous line, "It is I who failed Quan, not Quan who failed me." Just incredible. He orders Huang Quan's family to be looked after, given food and supplies.
What a statement. Is he worried about setting a precedent? Or is it purely about affirming his own sense of justice, his own character, even in defeat?
It feels like the latter, and it has immediate ripple effects, because when Huang Quan actually gets to the Wei court, Cao Pai tries to put him in his place. He suggests Huang Quan is just like other defectors looking for rank and reward.
But Huang Quan doesn't play along.
Not at all. The sources say he wept. He insists his surrender was unavoidable, driven by the situation, not ambition. He stresses his deep gratitude to Liu Bei, and he refuses the title Cao Pai offers him General Zenin.
Wow. Refusing a top military post. That speaks volumes.
It really does. And then there's this moment later when a rumor spreads in Wei that Liu Bei had executed Huang Quan's family in revenge.
How does Huang Quan react?
He dismisses it instantly. He says something like, the Shu Emperor and I understand each other. We have mutual trust. He knows my heart. He wouldn't do that. It's an amazing moment of cross-border faith and character. Liu Bei's gamble on clemency, totally validated.
So while Liu Bei is kind of shoring up his moral authority, even in retreat, Cao Pai over in Wei smells blood in the water.
Oh, yeah. He sees Shu weakened, Wu presumably exhausted from their victory, and thinks, this is it, my chance to knock out Wu and move closer to unifying China.
But his own advisors weren't all on board, were they?
Not at all. Jie Shu, a really seasoned strategist, basically says, hold on. Liu Bei still has Kongming. Sun Quan still has Lu Xun. Both Shu and Wu are tough nuts to crack. Let's wait, consolidate, let things play out.
And Liu Ye. He usually favored attacking. Right?
He did. But this time, he warns Cao Pai against it. His logic is fascinating. He says, because Wu just won a massive victory against Shu, their morale, their sharp spirit is sky high. They're actually more dangerous and prepared right now, not less.
Brilliant strategic thinking. But Cao Pai
ignores them both. He's the emperor. He thinks he knows best. He launches a huge three-pronged invasion of Wu, leading the main force himself.
Big mistake. How did Wu respond?
They were completely ready, just like Liu Ye predicted. Lu Fan squares off against Cao Zhu. Zhuge Jin, that's Kongming's brother serving Wu, handles Cao Zhen near Nan Commandery.
And the main fight happens where?
At Rusu. This is where the young Wu commander Zhu Huan, only 27 apparently, faces the veteran Cao Ren.
Okay, so what happens at Rusu? This seems key.
It's a masterclass in psychology and tactics. Zhu Huan sees Cao Ren's massive vanguard approaching like 50,000 troops. He pulls most of his own men out of the city, hiding them nearby, leaving only about 5,000 cavalry inside Rusu.
Okay.
Then he orders all the flags lowered, total silence, makes the city look deserted, abandoned.
A trap.
Exactly. The Wei advance guard, led by Chang Diao, rushes forward thinking it's an easy take. Suddenly, flags shoot up, drums thunder, cannons fire. Zhu Huan personally leads the charge out. And the sources say he killed Chang Diao in single combat, like almost immediately. The Wei vanguard just collapses, completely routed.
Incredible. What about the other fronts?
Similar story. Cao Ren himself gets ambushed by Zhu Huan's hidden forces returning. And near Nan Commandery, Cao Zhen and Xiahou Shang are caught in a pincer Lu Xun attacking from inside the city, Zhuge Jin from outside. Total coordination by Wu.
So a complete failure for Cao Pai's grand plan.
Butter failure. Cao Pai hears about the defeats on all three fronts and has to order a retreat back to Luoyang. He admits he messed up.
And then things get even worse for Wei.
Yeah, that final detail is brutal. As his army retreats, a severe epidemic hits them, likely in the summer heat. The sources claim 6 or 7 out of every 10 soldiers died just on the march back. A strategic blunder compounded by disease, just a catastrophe.
So Wei is reeling from this failed opportunism. Meanwhile, back in Yang'an Palace, Liu Bei's health is failing fast. This is now the 3rd year of Zhang Wu, 8224.
Right. The grief over Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, the stress of the defeat, his existing illness, it's all catching up to him. He knows the end is near.
There's that story about him seeing the ghosts of his brothers, right?
Yeah, the sources include that. Guan Yu and Zhang Fei appear, tell him they've been made gods because of their loyalty and that he'll be joining them soon. It sort of, frames his death within the righteousness of their shared cause.
So knowing his time is short, he summons his key people, Zhu Lian, who was another senior official, and his younger sons, Lu Yong and Lu Li. His heir, Lu Shan, isn't there initially, right?
Correct. And before he gets to the main event, the testament, there's this really pointed moment involving Ma Su.
Oh, Ma Su, brother of Mali and one of Kongming's protégés.
Exactly. Liu Bei sees him nearby and apparently tells him to leave. Then he turns to Kongming and delivers this warning.
What does he say?
He says, very directly, this man's words exceed his actual talent. He shouldn't be given great responsibility. The Prime Minister needs to watch him closely.
Chilling foresight, given what happens later at Jiting. If Liu Bei saw this flaw, why wait until his deathbed to warn Kongming?
Maybe it was only then, facing death, that he felt he could challenge Kongming's judgment on one of his favorites so bluntly. It shows how focused he was, even at the end. And that clarity leads into the biggest moment of all.
The testament itself. He hands the written document to Kongming, tells him to guide the heir, Lu Shan, and then the offer.
The offer that echoes through history. He tells Kongming, your talent is 10 times that of Cao Pai. High praise. Then he says, if the heir Lu Shan can be supported, support him. If he proves untalented, you may take Chengdu as your own ruler.
Wow. Offering the throne itself.
The impact on Kongming is immediate. The text says he was terrified, sweating profusely, banging his head on the ground until it bled, swearing absolute loyalty, promising to serve Lu Shan with all his strength until death.
Liu Bei isn't just entrusting the kingdom, he's binding Kongming with an almost unbearable moral weight.
Precisely. He then instructs his other sons, Lu Yong and Lu Li, to treat Kongming like a father, reinforcing that structure.
And one final instruction.
A personal one for Zhao Yun, the general who'd been with him through thick and thin. He tells Zhao Yun, you've been with me through everything. Look after my son, always. Don't fail my words.
A poignant farewell. And then Liu Bei dies, age 63.
The sources suggest he was, somewhat at peace with his age, but deeply worried.
Worried about his sons, right, and the future of the state he built.
Exactly. And what he leaves behind isn't like a military strategy, but this incredibly important final testament, the Yizhou.
Which contains that famous line, doesn't it?
It does, that moral maxim for his son, Lu Shan. Don't do evil just because it seems small, and don't neglect good just because it seems small. Really powerful guidance, sets a moral compass.
But politically, there was something even more, radical in there.
Oh, absolutely. The instruction to Lu Shan, the heir, to treat Zhu Jinliang as his own father. Shi Zirufu.
To serve him like a father.
Oh.
That's not just showing respect, that's basically handing over the reins, isn't it?
It really is. It's an incredible act of trust. And it formalizes Zhu Jinliang's authority right from the start.
So the succession happens quickly. Lu Shan takes the throne. The era name changes to Jiangxing. Su Qian gets promoted. Wu Shanghe controls Yi province.
All the titles and honors are confirmed. The new regime is technically in place, but everyone understands who's really steering the ship through the storm.
And the storm clouds gather almost immediately. News travels fast.
It reaches the Wei court, reaches Cao Pai, and his reaction.
Pure joy, apparently. He thinks his main rival is gone. Shu is weak. It's time to move.
He's ready to invade, but there is a moment of hesitation prompted by one of his advisors.
Jiashu, right. What was his warning?
Jiashu basically said, hold on, don't underestimate Zhu Jinliang. His loyalty to Liu Bei, his sense of obligation, it's absolute. He'll pour everything into protecting Lu Shan and Shu. It won't be a walkover.
Good advice. But it seems it wasn't enough to deter them, especially when Sima Yi steps up.
Sima Yi. This is where the plan goes from invasion to existential threat. He proposes this overwhelming strategy.
The five-pronged attack. 500,000 troops. Which, okay, maybe the number's been inflated for effect.
Probably. But the concept is terrifying. It's not just one big army. It's 5 separate forces hitting from different directions using different tactics, designed to completely overwhelm Shu's defenses.
You've got conventional armies, you've got defectors, tribal forces, even potentially their own ally turning against them. It forces Zhuge Liang to spread his limited resources incredibly thin.
Let's just quickly break down those 5 routes because it really shows the nightmares Zhuge Liang was facing.
Okay, Route 1.
That's the main way army. Cao Zhen, the grand military governor, supposedly 100,000 strong, coming through Jingzhou, aiming straight for Yangping Pass. The big, direct punch.
Route 2, the betrayal, Meng Da.
Right. The general who'd already switched sides once, given another 100,000, attacking Hanzong from Shenyang, a knife in the side, really demoralizing.
Then Route 3, down south.
The southern barbarians, Ming, Man King, bribed, apparently, to bring 100,000 man troops up against the southern commanderies, a massive diversion, pulling troops away from the core.
Route 4, out west.
The tribes again, KB Neng, the Jianbei king, paid off with gold and silk to raise Kang and Xianbei cavalry, 100,000 they claim, hitting Shuping Pass. Fast-moving threat on the flank.
And the 5th, the one that could really seal their fate.
East Wu, Sun Quan, their supposed ally, lured by promises of land, sending 100,000 troops towards Xiaku, aiming for Fucheng. If Wu joins in, Shu is surrounded. Done for.
It's strategically devastating. There's no way Shu Han has the manpower to meet all 5 threats head on.
Not even close. It's designed to cause panic and collapse. And remember the context. The court is already grieving, unstable.
So when this news lands in Chengdu, chaos, utter panic. Officials are freaking out. The Empress Dowager is worried. They're all running to Zhuge Liang.
They need answers. They need a plan. What does the chancellor say?
He says, he's sick, can't see anyone.
For days, can you imagine? The enemy is marching potentially 500,000 troops, and the one guy who might save them is unavailable.
The tension must have been unbearable. It gets so bad the young emperor, Lu Shan, has to go himself. He personally visits the chancellor's residence.
And what does he find? Zhuge Liang isn't sick in bed. He's not even in a war room.
Nope. He's by a pond, leaning on a staff, watching fish. Guan Yu.
Just watching fish while the world burns. It's such a powerful image.
Lu Shan, understandably, is probably terrified and confused. What are you doing?
And Zhuge Liang apparently just laughs, assures him he wasn't just idly watching fish, he was thinking. And the punchline...
He says 4 out of the 5 threats are already taken care of, neutralized, gone.
Already dealt with. Before anyone in the court even fully grasped the details of the invasion plan, that's the genius we're diving into. How?
Okay, so this is the core of it. His strategy wasn't mass mobilization. It wasn't about meeting force with force.
No, it was psychological. It was about leverage, using existing relationships, reputations, geographical realities, and, critically, secrecy. Stung Rain Busei. Making his moves unpredictable, unmeasurable.
So, let's unpack these silent countermoves. Counter 1, dealing with KB Ning and the King Jianbei forces in the west at Shinping Pass.
Right. Big tribal army, potentially very dangerous. What does Zhuge Liang do? He remembers Ma Chao.
The general already stationed out west.
Exactly. And crucially, Ma Chao was revered by the Kang tribes. They called him the divine mighty general. He had this almost mythical status among them.
So instead of sending a huge army,
he sends urgent orders, Zhengye Qixi, Star Night directives to Ma Chao. The order isn't defeat them, it's hold the pass.
How?
By showing force, but not committing. Constant patrols, rotating ambushes, making it look like he had endless troops, but never engaging in a full battle. The sight of the legendary Ma Chao, combined with this confusing, elusive defense.
It was enough to deter them. The tribes reliant on reputation and maybe a bit of superstition.
It seems so. They hesitated. They didn't press the attack. Reputation became the shield. Brilliant efficiency.
Okay, 1 down. Counter 2, the south. Meng Huo and the man troops. These guys are about brute force. How do you stop that without a big fight?
You play on their assumptions. They expect directness, strength, so Liu Yang gives them confusion. He sends Wei On.
Another solid general.
And tells him to basically play games. Constant movement. Left out, right in, right out, left in. Feints, withdrawals, showing up here, then there, never settling.
Like a military shell game.
Pretty much. The man forces, described as relying on strength over complex tactics, couldn't figure it out. How big was the Shu force? Where was it concentrated? Were they walking into a trap?
That doubt makes them hesitate.
Exactly. They stop advancing, trying to figure out what Wei Yan is doing, and that hesitation is all Zhu Zhiling needs. Time.
Okay, West and South, handled with psychology and maneuver. Now, counter 3, Meng Da, the traitor attacking Hanzong. This one feels different, more personal.
It absolutely was. This relied on deep personal knowledge. Zhu Zhiling knew Meng Da had a very close friend, a sworn brother, Lian, who was another Shu official stationed elsewhere.
Lian, who was loyal to Shu.
Loyal to Shu, but Meng Da's trusted friend. So Zhu Zhiling takes a massive gamble. He forges a letter.
From Lian to Meng Da. Wow. What did it say? Come back to Shu?
No, nothing like that. Much cleverer. It was written as if from Lian, expressing some personal trouble or need, and asking Meng Da, as his sworn brother, to please just delay his campaign for a bit, feign illness, maybe stall.
Just a personal request between friends.
Exactly. Meng Da gets this letter, seemingly from his closest friend, asking for a personal favor, and he buys it. He actually delays his invasion, claiming illness, to help out his friend.
That is audacious. It relies on the forgery being perfect and on Lian not finding out and blowing the whistle.
Huge risk. But it worked. It bought crucial weeks. Meng Da's threat was neutralized by exploiting a personal bond. Incredible.
Okay, 3 down. Counter 4. The main Wei force. Cao Zhen at Yangping Pass. The biggest army, the most conventional threat. You can't fool them with ghosts or fake letters, surely.
No, this required something different. This required a rock. And the rock was Zhao Yun.
The ever-reliable Zhao Yun, sent to hold the pass.
Yes, but with very specific, almost counterintuitive orders. Hold the pass, dig in, make it look impregnable, but do not go out and fight. Bing booches on.
Don't engage. Why?
Passive defense. Impenetrable silence. Cao Zhen arrives, expecting resistance, maybe a pitched battle. Instead, he sees nothing. Just heavily fortified walls, banners flying, but no army marching out to meet him.
What does he make of that?
He likely assumes the position is too strong, that Zhu Zhiling has massively reinforced it, that they're just waiting for him to attack and bleed his army dry against the fortifications. Why else wouldn't they fight?
So the lack of aggression is interpreted as supreme confidence and strength.
Precisely. It's a psychological checkmate. Cao Zhen, not wanting a costly siege against what looks like an unbeatable position, eventually decides it's not worth it. He retreats.
Amazing. 4 threats dissolved using reputation, confusion, deception, and deterrence, without a single major battle.
And we should add, Zhu Zhiling wasn't completely passive. The sources mention he also quietly sent out reserve forces under Guan Xing and Zhang Bao to key points just in case. A backup plan kept secret to avoid panic in the capital.
Smart, but that still leaves the 5th threat.
Yeah.
The big one, potentially, Sun Quan and East Wu.
Yeah, the Eastern Gate. And you can't use tricks on Wu. They're too familiar, too politically savvy. This needed something else. Exactly. Zhu Zhiling's calculation here was brilliant. He figured Sun Quan was only in this for opportunistic gain. Sun Quan deeply resented Cao Pai for past invasions of Wu territory. He wouldn't really want Wei to win big unless he absolutely had to back the winner.
So if the other 4 attacks fizzle out,
Sun Quan would likely back down rather than risk strengthening Wei, his long-term rival. The key was to make sure he knew the other attacks had failed and then to offer him a better alternative.
an alliance against Wei.
Turn the threat into a partner. But that requires persuasion, a skilled envoy.
Yeah, and the sources give us this great little scene, right? As Zhu Zhiling is explaining this, someone outside is overheard laughing.
Yeah, Deng Zhi, a household minister. He'd apparently already figured out the strategy ally with Wu, become lips and teeth against Wei. He gear it.
Zhu Zhiling hears this, calls him in.
And immediately gives him the mission. Go to Wu, talk to Sun Quan, secure the alliance, turn this final threat into an asset.
And Deng Zhi succeeds. The Wu invasion is called off, and instead they reaffirm their alliance with Shu Han against Wei. The five-pronged attack completely evaporates.
It's just a masterclass, a 500,000-man invasion neutralized primarily through intelligence, psychology, and exploiting existing political realities.